Hey there everyone, back with another video, and in this video we will be yet learning another concept in JavaScript. It's all about debugging. As we all know that we have the debugging process in every languages. Before we get started, if you are new to this channel, please subscribe and also hit that bell button so that you will be notified whenever I come up with a new video. So now, how to again, guys? For those who don't know about what you mean by a debugging, so I'll just tell you in just one single simple line. Like debugging is a process of finding an errors or a bug. Yeah, in general we say a bug inside our program, right? So this is the process where we find the bugs. That is all about what we call it as debugging. So now we have two kinds of debugging. First is of course the manual debugging, and the second one is an automated debugging where we will be using about a program called as a debugger. So now guys, let me divide this video into two parts. In the first part we will know how to manually debug our JavaScript code, and in the second part we'll just use a debugger program, and let's automate that debugging process with some tools that are available in the browser, and in particular we are using a Chrome, right? So let's jump in and let's know how we debug a program manually. So now guys, what do you mean by manually? We ourselves as a JavaScript programmer will check step by step and line by line, and we'll check manually where the error is, and we will find what we call it as a bug manually by ourselves, right? So now I'll just have a quick demo for you. Let me say I have a variable and I will call it as sum and initialize it to 10, and let me say I have a function called as, again back to the fun. So now what I'm gonna do here is I will also declare a variable like sum1, something like that, and initialize it to 900. And I also have some kind of a for loop over here, and in the for loop I'll just quickly have some kind of a loop structures. So I'll just do it to 10 iterations, yeah. And then guys, just please bear with me, I'll just show you something interesting part over here. So now what I'm gonna do here is I'll just initialize sum as sum1 plus plus what I'm gonna say, I'll just do some kind of a random expression over here, like 30 and multiplied by sum, and that's it. So now this is the thing that I'm gonna do in this function, and at the last I'll just call the fun function, and let me check what will be the output of sum. So now what will be the output? Whoa, we are not getting anything over here, even though we have saved this, and we are not getting anything. The reason is because we are not printing anything, right? So now guys, let me assume that this function does some kind of a logic. For example, a login authentication. I assume that this function does some login authentication, and guys, this function should work perfectly fine no matter what scenario we give for this function. We call it as test cases, right? So now how to get the final result of this entire function, which will be stored in a sum variable, and how to get to know what's going on inside this function. So of course at the last, by calling this function, we will be consoling it to the log, and we will be checking that very easily, right? So now what will be the output? Oh my god, did you see this, guy? We have some kind of a long numbers over here, and this is the result of this expression which is in this loop. So now guys, how did we end up by getting this huge numbers as an output which was stored in this sum? So in order to do that, we introduce some kind of console in the for loop itself, and let's check after every iteration what will be the output of this sum, right? So now if I just refresh the browser, we got the thing, right? So now this is how we manually check the values of a variable, or in other words the output of this function, by introducing a legendary statement that we have in JavaScript. It's all about console.log. So no matter you ask any JavaScript developers, he will be using this in order to get the values printed in the console before printing it in the actual HTML pages, right? So now, as you can notice, we are incrementing one by one these values over here with this expression in each and every iteration in this for loop, right? So at the last we got this sum as this, right? So this is how we manually check what's going on inside a for loop and what's going on inside a function by using a console.log. And at the last, some developer will also use alert for that, which is also a good method to get the output printed to this alert box. So I recommend that this is not a suggested one, because it always pops up and stops execution after we click on this OK button. Until we click on OK button, we don't execute the rest of the things in the JavaScript, right? So I don't prefer this, using alert for popping up some values that is generated from your logic, right? So I don't recommend this, but you can use this though. So yes guys, this is all about the manually debugging that we do in JavaScript with the help of this legendary statement. It's a console.log. That's it. As you can notice, we got all the things printed into the console, and we are now confident enough that okay, this is the right logic that's supposed to be, and boom, we got the error-free and bug-free JavaScript code. That's it guys. This is all about the first part in debugging in JavaScript, that is all about manual debugging. So in the next part, let's work on the automated debugging. Alright, so now let's jump in with the next type of, or the next kind of debugging process that we have in JavaScript. It's all about automated debugging. So now guys, we need a debugger to automate our debugging process. Without debugging, it's nothing, because a debugger helps us to debug our code in a faster way, in a smarter way, and it helps us to reduce our task. And it also guys, this is the main thing, it helps us reduce our time in debugging process, right? So it has got a lot of advantage than the manual debugging. So manual debugging costs lots of time. It's time consuming, it's task, it's very hard, and it's also, it brains you out, and the developers guys, you won't believe, if you have some kind of thousands and thousands lines of code, if you go ahead with the manual debugging, it will be a crazy. I don't know how that JavaScript developer will be. So you must use, and you must understand, you must be well versed with a debugger. So now guys, let's jump in and let's know how debugging will be done using a debugger. So now guys, again we are using a Chrome since so far in this course. You can use any browser as well. All the browsers, all the recent browsers like Chrome and Firefox, Safari, all have its kind of own built-in developer console, and also it has got its debugger. So now guys, in order to explore debugger, I'll just quickly maximize this, and if I head over to source, you will get something like this, right? So in the leftmost column we have a file system, and as you can notice here, we have got our folder called as JavaScript Course has been loaded into the browser, right? So we have got all of the files that is in the browser that has been loaded inside a browser space or inside a browser memory. Yeah. So in the next column we have editor space, we call it as workspace, and in the rightmost column we have got all of the features that the debugger in the Chrome offers us. So now if I just head over to double click on the file, it opens up guys. Again, this is an editor, right? So you can also head over to external.js. that is what we have done over here. The same thing will be loaded in the browser, and as you can notice, this is it, right? So with that being said, let's jump in, and guys, as you can notice here, we have got a lot of options and functionalities over here. So now it is totally up to you to explore all of the things, but I will explain you first one, two, three, yeah, four, I guess. And because it has got a lot of, guys, as you can notice here, it is again, guys, it is very, very in depth about the features that the debugger provides us. So again, guys, it is not necessary to know all and everything which the debugger provides us. It's totally depends on your development scenarios, and you will get through that whenever you are experienced with that, whenever you spend a lot of time with this, right? So it is also a self-explanatory. So now, guys, of course, I will be explaining you some of the main and the most commonly used features that the debugger provides us, right? So yeah, coming back to the JavaScript code, this is it. So the first thing you need to do is you need to add a breakpoint. So now, what you mean by a breakpoint? It's a breakpoint is a point where we are pausing the execution of JavaScript. I'm sorry, yeah, the execution of JavaScript over the script that has been loaded. So in order to add a breakpoints over here, you can just come over here in the line numbers and click on that line number where you need to add a breakpoint. So now I'm added a breakpoint at the line number 19, right? So similarly, you can add wherever you want. It's all totally dependent on you, and I'll just add another breakpoint over here at the end of the file. So it's totally up to you and your logic and your scenarios. I'm just giving you the same. Again, guys, we are using the same program which we did in the manual debugging. So now if I head over to again, so now I have added a breakpoint. So let's start debugging process in JavaScript by refreshing this page. So now as the moment I refresh the page, and as you can see here, there is something going on, right? As you can notice here, paused in debugger. So now since we have added a breakpoints, our JavaScript interpreter stops executing our JavaScript code at the line number 19. So now in the console, if I just go to the console, it is not printed yet. So in the browser, it keeps running over here, right? So now we have added a breakpoint, and we are not manually, we are automated our debugging process with the help of a debugger, right? So now, guys, in order to I'm sorry for that. So if I head over to all of this, so first we will learn about scope. Yeah, scope. So this is the scope. So in this scope, guys, we have a block scope, a local scope, and a global scope, right? As you can notice here, we have also got a global script and a local and the block. So now what do you mean by a block? And it is also showing me I. So now what is I over here? It's a variable I, which is a block scope, which is only accessible in the for loop. So we call it as a block scope. And we also have a someone which is a local scope, which means it belongs to only this fun function. And we also have a script which is it's showing us sum, and the sum is this, right? So it's a script. It comes under script because it's in the script, right? So now it has been stopped at line number 19. So in order to execute the next line of statement, we need to click this button called as resume script execution. And also you can head over with those shortcuts over here. It's control plus / against. Yeah, it totally depends on you whether you use shortcut or not. So now, guys, see here, if I just click on this, something happened. So now if I just go to the console, it has printed what? The first value of our sum, right? So it's this. So now if I just come back to the source and see the variables and as you can see here, our I has already turned into 1, and sum is 90, and sum 1 is 90 and sum is this, right? So the values has been changed. So now you can also you can also notice here it highlights like someone is 900 and someone is 900. So it prints that. So now again you can head over to the next execution. It prints the next value of the sum. So since we are in the loop, it keeps looping here in this loop until this condition becomes false. And as you can notice, the I has become 2, and similarly 3, and it goes on until it's 10, right? Boom, we got the 10, right? So if I just head over to the console, we got all of the things printed one by one with the debugger and with the help of a breakpoint. So now we have done with the scope, and let's jump over with breakpoints. As you can notice here, guys, breakpoints, we have added a breakpoints in line number 19 and in line number 27. This is all about the number of breakpoints that we have. It just shows the list of breakpoints in this breakpoint, what you call it, tab, breakpoint tab. So we have covered scope, right? And the scope, we have scope and the breakpoints. So now if I just head over to a call stack, it is now printing anonymous. So now again, let me refresh this browser again, and again it starts from the beginning. And notice here in the call stack we are getting fun and anonymous, right? So it shows that, again guys, call stack is again a different concept that we have in every programming language. It just maintains the program program counter, which basically does is it counts from where it is jumping the control from which function to which function. So now we are still in fun function. It's showing fun. So now if I just click on next, and I think I need to click 10 times, as you can notice, it's gone, right? So from fun we are getting outside, so it's all gone now. So it just shows where your control is, right? So this is all about the call stack. So now let's begin with the watch. So now what do we need to do in watch? So again, I'll just refresh the browser. Again, guys, bear with me because it's very important to know all of the things like watch, call stack, scope, and breakpoints. And XHR is all about Ajax calls. Don't worry about that. So we are covering with the main things that are necessary for you to have a debugging process in debugger. So now if I just again guys, watch is like it watches the expression that we have given under this tab. So if I just head over here and click on add, and I will just say like sum plus sum1. So now guys, you need to give all of the you need to give all of the variables that you have in the script over here as an expression, and just hit enter. Wow, as you can notice here, it's showing already the sum of sum and sum1, right? So now as you can notice here, the sum1 is 900, and the sum, I think it's in the I don't know where from where we are executing. I don't know where which loop we are in. So just click on next. The values changes, right? So it just prints the expression, the value of an expression at a given point of time, right? So it just, as you can, I think you got that, right? So it just prints the sum of the expression that we have given at the given moment of time. That's it. This is all about watch, and you can also go ahead and click on another expression and it gives you the respective results. That's it. So yes guys, I hope that I have dragged you with this so much amount of time in order to explain to you guys all about the things that you need to know and understand in JavaScript. And it prints all the console over here, and we have the file system and the editors, and at the last we have got all of the things that you need to understand in order to debug your program in debugger. So let me finish off with all of the things by clicking this pause and resume. Boom guys, we have now ended our debugging process, and it stops at line number 27, and we got all of the things printed in the console one by one with the help of a debugger. Oof. Yes guys, this is all about it, and I hope that I have given you a lot of information about the debugging process in JavaScript. Please go ahead and practice, because just watching this won't help you at all. You need to practice them by yourselves, and you need to get to know that by practicing. The only way to get experienced is You need to code them, not just watch them, right? Yes guys, this is all about it. And let me know if you have some kind of questions or anything. Just leave a comment down in the comment section. I'll try to answer all of them. And please guys, again, make sure that you subscribe, like and share, and hit that bell button. That's it, I'm done and I'm signing off, and see you in the next video.